In 1986, on a quiet stretch of land just 2 kilometers from Romania's Black Sea coast, geologist Cristian Lascu was conducting what should have been a routine survey. A state energy company had commissioned a study for a proposed thermal power plant. Nothing suggested that this ordinary patch of earth would change our understanding of life itself. The drill went down 6 meters. Then, something unexpected happened. The drill punched through into a void, not a cavern. Not a sinkhole. A passage. A passage that had not seen sunlight in over 5 million years. What Cristian Lascu discovered that day would be hailed as one of the greatest scientific finds of the century, a world sealed away since the late Miocene epoch. A world that had evolved in complete isolation for 5.5 million years. A world that should not exist. Welcome to Movile Cave. 240 meters of twisting passages, 18 meters below the surface of Romania. For scale, that's about the length of 2.5 football fields, buried beneath a field near the town of Mangalia. The cave is not large by speleological standards. It contains 3 main chambers, the lake room, with the highest concentration of life, and 2 smaller air bells with their own distinct atmospheric conditions. But size is not what makes Movile Cave extraordinary. What makes this cave extraordinary is that it breaks every rule we thought we knew about life on Earth. Rule 1: life needs sunlight. Photosynthesis is the foundation of nearly every ecosystem on our planet. Plants capture sunlight. Herbivores eat plants. Predators eat herbivores. Energy flows from the sun through living things, through food webs, but Movile Cave has no sunlight. None. It has been sealed away from the surface world for 5.5 million years by thick, impermeable layers of clay and loess. No sunlight has ever touched these walls. No plant has ever grown here. No photosynthesis has ever occurred. Yet life thrives. How? Through chemosynthesis. In this darkness, bacteria oxidize hydrogen sulfide, methane, and ammonium to produce nutrients. These bacteria form thick mats and biofilms that cover the cave walls and water surfaces. They are the foundation of an entire food web. Movile Cave is the first terrestrial ecosystem ever discovered that runs completely on chemosynthesis. Until its discovery, we thought such ecosystems only existed in the deep ocean, around hydrothermal vents. This cave proves that life can exist, can thrive, in complete isolation from the sun. Entering Movile Cave is not like entering an ordinary cave. The atmosphere in there will kill an unprotected human within hours, perhaps sooner. The air in Movile Cave contains only 7 to 10% oxygen. Compare that to the 21% we breathe on the surface. The carbon dioxide concentration is 100 times higher than normal air. Hydrogen sulfide levels reach 8 to 12 milligrams per liter. The air smells of rotten eggs and burnt rubber. The humidity is 100%. The temperature is a constant 21 degrees Celsius, maintained by geothermal heat from deep below. It has been this way for millions of years. Microbiologist Rich Bowden, only the 29th person ever to visit the cave for science, described the experience this way: the pool of warm sulfidic water stinks of rotting eggs or burnt rubber when you disturb it as hydrogen sulfide is given off. The water itself comes from 25,000-year-old limestone strata deep below the cave. It contains almost no dissolved oxygen. Below just 3 or 4 centimeters of depth, the water is completely anoxic. Yet even here, in this poisoned darkness, life persists, and not just persists. Thrives, adapts, evolves. In the 5.5 million years since Movile Cave was sealed, its inhabitants have undergone one of the most remarkable evolutionary transformations ever documented. Of the 57 animal species discovered here, 37 are found nowhere else on Earth. They are endemic to this single cave. They exist only here. They evolved only here. Natural selection in Movile Cave has followed a predictable pattern. Without sunlight, eyes are useless, so the creatures lost them. Without need for camouflage or display, pigmentation became irrelevant. So the creatures became pale, translucent ghost white, but other senses became paramount: mechanosensory perception, chemoreception, the ability to detect vibrations in the air and water, the ability to smell food, mates, and danger in an environment of total darkness. Meet Nipa anophthalma, the only cave-adapted water scorpion in the world. It is completely eyeless, perfectly adapted to its toxic aquatic environment. It has been here for millions of years, hunting in waters that would kill most surface creatures, Hemopus caica. A blind leech found nowhere else, one of many unique predators in this strange ecosystem. Heliobia dobrogica. The only snail in Movile Cave. It is the most arrival, having inhabited the cave for only slightly more than 2 million years. In the timeline of this place, that makes it a newcomer. This spider, Agricina christiani, was named after Christian Lascu, the cave's discoverer. It is one of many predators that hunt the grazers and smaller invertebrates that feed on the bacterial mats. Eyeless aquaticus infernus, Trachlipus troglobius. These isopods are the grazers, the primary consumers, feeding on the bacterial biofilms that cover every surface. They are the link between the chemosynthetic base of the food web and the predators above them. But every ecosystem has an apex predator, a creature at the top of the food chain. In Movile Cave, that creature was not discovered until 2020, Cryptops speleoryx, the king of the cave. Discovered in 2020, this venomous troglobitic centipede is the largest invertebrate in Movile Cave. At 2 inches long, it is a giant in this world of tiny creatures. It is the apex predator, and it is constantly hunting. Cryptops speleoryx roams the passages of Movile Cave, searching for isopods, beetles, and any other prey it can subdue with its venomous claws. It has no eyes to see in the darkness. It does not need them. Its antennae detect vibrations, its chemical sensors locate prey. It is the perfect predator for a world of eternal night. In this cave, the king of the cave sits atop a food web that has remained stable for millions of years. Bacteria produce nutrients from chemical energy. Grazers consume the bacteria, predators consume the grazers, and Cryptops speleoryx consumes them all. It is a complete ecosystem, self-sustaining, isolated, unique, and it has been running for 5.5 million years without any input from the outside world. In 1996, approximately 10 years after the cave's discovery, NASA arrived. They brought a mobile laboratory and a team of researchers. They were not here to study Earth life. They were here to study alien life. Movile Cave is an analog, a real-world model for environments that might exist on other worlds. Mars, Europa, Enceladus. Worlds with subsurface oceans. Worlds with hydrothermal activity. Worlds where life might exist in complete darkness, powered by chemistry rather than sunlight. If life can exist in Movile Cave, cut off from the sun for 5.5 million years, surviving on chemical energy and a toxic atmosphere, then life could exist in the subsurface oceans of Europa. Caves of Mars. In environments we once thought were completely sterile. NASA's tests confirmed the cave's isolation. Water samples showed no radioactive isotopes from the Chernobyl disaster. The cave had been completely sealed. The water came from deep below, not from surface infiltration. Movile Cave truly was a world apart. As one NASA researcher put it, Movile Cave may hold important clues about evolution on Earth and on planets with hostile environments. Today, Movile Cave remains one of the most restricted scientific sites on Earth. Only a few dozen researchers have ever been allowed inside. Access is controlled through a sealed vertical shaft with an airtight gate. Specialized breathing equipment is mandatory. The ecosystem is too fragile, too unique, too valuable to risk contamination. Research continues. New species are still being discovered. In 2020 we found the king of the cave. Tomorrow we might find something else. Something stranger. Something that changes our understanding of life yet again. The cave is still evolving. Sulfuric acid from bacterial oxidation continues to slowly erode the limestone, gradually making the cave bigger. The ecosystem is not static. It is alive, changing, adapting. As it has for 5.5 million years, and as one researcher noted, the worse the air gets, the more life there is. Movile Cave teaches us that life is more resilient, more adaptable, more creative than we ever imagined. It teaches us that the rules we thought were universal were not. Life does not need sunlight. Life does not need the surface world. Life can persist in isolation for millions of years, evolving into forms we never anticipated. It teaches us to look in new places for life. Not just on the surfaces of planets, but beneath them. Not just in the light, but in the darkness. Not just where we expect life to be, but where we think it cannot possibly exist. 5.5 million years ago, a cave in Romania was sealed away from the world. Inside, life continued, evolved, thrived, and waited. Waited for us to discover it, to learn from it, to understand that the universe of life is far stranger, far more wonderful than we ever knew. Movile Cave, the alien world beneath Romania, a reminder that even on our own planet, there are still worlds to discover, still mysteries to unravel, still life waiting to be found. The search continues.